create whatever personality the lens really needs.
Hi, I'm Indiana.
And I'm Haley.
And we're Cinematography for Actors. We teach the technical side of performance. But for NAB, we are here in partnership with
Learn Filmmaking Network.
And we are going to take you through some of our favorite vendors, some walk and talks with some of our favorite people, and just check out what NAB is all about. So we're super stoked to be here and to show you everything that NAB has to offer.
Come meet our friends.
Hi, it's Indiana with Cinematography for Actors and LFN, Learn Filmmaking. And I won an award. I'm really excited about it. My family will finally be proud of me when I bring this home to Canada. But just kidding, they're not going to be proud because this is a winner for Fujifilm who's taken home several awards. And Stosh, who I'm going to bring you over to, a fellow Canadian. Hi, Stosh.
Hey.
Durbacz.
Yes.
Yes, I nailed that last name.
Got it.
Fellow Canadian, has been at Fujifilm for 20 years.
20 years,
which
yep.
is insane. And he's here to demo and just tell us about what is winning all of the awards this year, and what is that?
So it's a new category of lens, truly. What we've done is built a cinema box lens. As you can see, this is a typical box lens.
Wow.
But for all you cinematographers out there, don't be afraid. It's actually got a native PL mount. So it's a Super 35 PL mount cinema box lens.
Like, okay, so this is broadcast and cinema?
Right on, right on. So what we're seeing in the market a lot right now is non-traditional applications wanting to get that cinema look, that shallow depth of field, that expanded color space, that dynamic range. So we're seeing that bleed into sports and concert touring and live event, game shows, talk shows, all kinds of different things. They all want to, take advantage of that look. One of the challenges in that world is there's no long lens in the cinema world, as you know. There's no way to move that camera position to the sideline or the back of the house or wherever, get out of the way to be able to experience that live event. So what we've done is come up with a 25 to 1000 mil PL mount Super 35 lens.
That's insane and really cool. And I know as a DP, I love the long lens look and I love the long zoom look, and I can only imagine what the possibility could be here. And so we're really excited about this. Now, just for fun, how heavy is this lens?
It's about 63 pounds.
Okay, great. So I just need to get my squats in with this lens only, and I can get rid of my gym membership.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, we shot a car commercial not long ago, and it was out on the end of a 70-foot Chapman crane. So there really is no issue with the weight. It is big and heavy, of course, but certainly we're working with a lot of the accessory vendors too. You can see a prototype wooden camera cage on here, potentially put some handles up on the top to help out with that. But there's a lot of technology packed in there. There's optical stabilization, our broadcast motors are all in there. And the way you're seeing it set up here today is with the broadcast motors, right? So that's a very comfortable setup for operator, that kind of thing. But the beauty of this, what we've done is worked with the cinema world's accessory makers, like our friends at Preston. So you can actually plug your MDR into this lens, and now you can control it from your Fizz unit. So it's amazing to see how concerned the cinema community is when they see this box lens, but when you hand them the Preston and their monitor and they can pull focus there, it just feels natural. It fully calibrates, works with the lens. You can zoom, focus, iris, no problem. And away you go. So now it doesn't matter what shape the lens is, right? It could be a triangle, a box, a square, a circle, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to what a triangle lens could possibly be as well. Thank you so much, Stosh. I'm so excited about this. And if we want to see test footage, where would we go?
The Fujinon Lenses YouTube page, there's lots on there, and our social media, follow our social media for sure. And we got tons of great content on there.
This is our 25 to 1000 that has swept the awards categories at this year's NAB Oscars. Thank you so much. Bye.
Hi, I'm Haley Royal with CFA here at NAB for LFN. I'm with Joe Nunez. He's VP of e-commerce at Film Tools. Hi, Joe. How you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for coming by.
What are you doing here at NAB?
So we have a booth. We're showcasing a bunch of our different verticals that we cater to for filmmakers, and getting our brand out in front of people.
So cool. What's something that you're excited about right now?
A lot of the innovation with the green screen and LED walls, that's super exciting. Another thing I really love is the price points, making tools more accessible to filmmakers.
Cool. So Film Tools is a vendor.
That's right.
Correct. But you're really big on education and community. What are some of the things that you're working on right now that you can tell us about?
All right, well, certainly our social channels, TikTok, where we're demystifying some of the things in the filmmaking community, making quick how-tos, and teaching people about some of the basics that we take for granted being filmmakers.
That's great. So resources for new filmmakers.
That's right.
Fantastic. At NAB, as a vendor,
Yeah.
what's something you were looking for? Did you find anything?
There's some few cool things. Hudson Spiders got this little filmmaking tent for DITs that attaches to a flag, so that thing's super cool, I think. Obviously, DZO Films got some really cool anamorphics they're coming out with, and the thing we're most excited about is just being able to connect filmmakers.
Cool. As a vendor that's big on community, what are some of the educational events we can expect to see in Los Angeles coming up?
Sure. So at our retail location in Burbank, we always have, like lunch and learns where we invite people in. They're free events. You get hands-on with all of our products, and we'll focus on things sometimes like lighting, grip, camera, and just help people get familiar with things. So we'll continue to do that.
And that's free?
That is free, yes. So come through, follow us on social, and stay aware of everything we're doing.
So there are lots of different facets of NAB, as we know. What is your personal favorite part of NAB?
I like getting hands-on with the camera gear, obviously, so it's a great opportunity for anybody to come, get hands-on, and see what it's all about. So yeah.
That's one of my favorite things. I love when you can touch gear.
Yeah,
they let you
absolutely.
touch it. So do you have any great advice for someone who may be watching, who's thinking about coming to NAB but hasn't done it yet? What sort of things do you need to pack?
The essentials. Just light backpack and good shoes. Because you're going to be doing a lot of walking, but it's totally worth it. Trust.
Yeah. Any day-to-day advice?
Just schedule your day out a little bit and make sure you make time for food, because you will get immersed in everything and not have time for some of that basic things,
All right. Very good advice. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Okay. We're walking with Joe Adams, who is you describe yourself as the DP of behind the scenes. That's cool. How did this come about?
Yeah, it's a kind of a long story, but when I moved out to Los Angeles, I bought a DSLR camera, a Canon 5D Mark III, and I had a friend at UCLA, and I was like, can I bring my camera and take still photography? Which I didn't really know was a job. So I took the camera, I just started taking random photos of the sets, and I sort of built my portfolio from that. And, as I was taking photos of the cameras, I would look up, what a Teradek is, what is this thing, what is this camera, and I would sort of YouTube videos of those objects, and then sort of taught myself.
So sick. So Joe and I met actually off of ShareGrid because I was renting a lens for a music video that he had, which is a super old Angenieux zoom, heavy as hell. I'm so sorry to my Steadicam op that I put that on the rig.
It's 10 pounds, and I remember you telling me that you're like, we're gonna put it on a Steadicam. I'm like, oh gosh, I feel so bad.
I know, but it looked so good.
Yeah,
I know. Okay, so final wrap up before we kind of keep going on our journey of talks with friends we've run into. What are you most excited about NAB? What have you seen? We're halfway through the show.
That's a really good question. Honestly, there's a lot of really cool lenses coming out, and I feel like that's the new hype, the new thing. There's a lot of new anamorphics coming out. I know a lot of the equipment that's coming here, but honestly, I come here specifically for the people. That's honestly,
same.
Yeah, that's honestly what I'm most excited about, is seeing people that you see once a year, or running into people that you only see at trade shows, because we're all busy, we're all working, we all don't get a chance to work together, and this always brings us all together. So honestly, besides lenses and people, that's the reason why, and everything that I love about this.
We're just dumping this Vortex with water, but as you can see, this isn't just some light raindrops. You're basically under a waterfall, and this thing has been going the whole show, no problem. And one thing that people always are like, no way, you can't get the fans wet, can you? Well, yeah, you can. These fans completely waterproof. They're in front of the seal, so there's another seal on the other side of them, and these things can just take a beat, and you get them all caked in mud, and in your shoot, just hose them off, and then you let them dry out and put them back in the shop.
That's awesome. I'm here with Tim Smith at Ingenue America.
Yes, that is us.
Ingenue America. Hey Tim, what are you doing at NAB?
We've got a lot of cool stuff to show. We're really glad to be back at NAB for starters. We're showing off everything from our 12 by zoom lens, which is this big, beautiful piece of glass, to our new Optimo Primes using internal optical palettes, which we're going to show you, and a really neat new system for calibrating lenses and charts. So we'll take a look at all of that.
Let's go.
Okay, so this is the Optimo Primes. They're beautiful cinematic primes. They're doing very well. Lots of films using them. But the uniqueness of this prime is a thing called an internal optical palette. We call it an IOP. It gives the lens the ability to change its character or its personality. So it isn't just one lens, one look. Even beautiful lenses have essentially one look. We wanted a set of lenses that you could use for 2 weeks on one film, and then completely different film, completely different storyline, fit that storyline with the look, so by changing the look. So what we do is, and what he's doing here is, he's removing the optics of it, fairly simple to do actually, inserting what's called an IOP, an internal optical palette, that's been treated with glimmer glass or pearlescence, or we have quite a few choices at this point. Back into it, reassemble the lens itself, and then you test until you find the right look, find what you want. So the concept is very much one set of lenses, many looks.
So the IOP, is it kind of like a filter, but it goes on the inside?
Yes, and kind of is exactly the way to say it, because it is a filter, literally. If you're going to use the glimmer glass that Tiffin makes, and they make this filter for us, that's a filter. But it's about where it's placed on the lens in terms of the way it works. A filter, when you place it on the front, like we always have, does its job, but it also sends light this way, back to the set. A filter, when it's placed inside, acts different. First of all, light doesn't travel this way; it travels this way. It's trapped inside. It's more like putting a new element in the lens or a new coating on a lens. So yes, it technically is a filter, but once it's inside, it's not really doing what a filter does.
Okay, yeah. Can we look?
Yes. So this is our 28, and like I mentioned, you can filter in the front like you always would. There's an internal filter, sits right about here, that we just talked about, and there's also the ability to change a rear filter. So you've got a lot of possible combinations to create whatever personality the lens really needs. So you could ND on the front if you choose, like you normally would, put a pearl or a glimmer, and then whatever you would normally do on the back as well, to really customize the look. The IOP happens when we remove this. IOP goes in, glass goes back in again.
Okay.
So that's how it becomes part of the actual lens and light path. So it isn't just a filter, it's part of the light path.
What is glimmer glass?
Glimmer is a filter that's pretty common for front.
Okay.
So when we take it, we'll process it to a thinner version, put it in the ring, and put it inside. So glimmer is a fairly well-known front glass. People look prettier with glimmer glass. It just changes the image, takes some of the digital edge off the camera. The last thing in the world any cinematographer wants is a digital camera to look digital. So you kind of cut that back down again. But placing it inside changes the whole character of the lens. So what we're looking at here is a lens checkout station made by a company called Mighty Works, except this one is portable.
Right.
Super precise, one of the most precise systems in the world, and portable. They've long since made installs at every major rental house in the world, but now we have a portable one they can take from place to place, maybe even take onto a camera truck if necessary. It allows you to do a really quick and thorough test of lens sharpness using a specific lens chart, looking at resolution, so you would test the lens and even the sensor for any issues or problems. Finding a problem in a lens when it's too late is a disaster, a total disaster.
Right.
So everybody checks them ahead of time, and they need a system to do that. Portable ones come in really handy. Here we're looking at what's called PAT charts. Brilliant company out of France called PAT Chart that makes these state-of-the-art, highest resolution in history charts. Go way back to the old days, we had charts similar to this, but nobody could print at the resolution that was really needed. and everybody would take like a dollar bill or a piece of currency and just tape it to the chart, because the dollar bill is printed with a plate and gives you the highest possible resolution to see detail and sharpness. But he developed a print system and a whole system for testing lenses above and beyond that resolution. So this chart will currently resolve more resolution than any camera that's been built so far or any lens that's been built so far. So it's future-proof. They're becoming very popular now. They're very expensive, relatively speaking, but for what they need to do, it has to be this kind of a chart. Over the years, we've gone from standard def to HD, now we're into 8K. The charts need to be up to that to tell if they're even working. So a lot of rental houses are now looking at ways to be more precise.
How many years have you been to NAB?
Not counting COVID, I think this is probably 25?
25 years.
Since I was 15.
What made you come when you were 15?
Kidding, 25 plus 15. A little under my age, but I got it, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
A joke that fell flat, sorry.
I loved it. Haha, very funny. Okay, so you like NAB then?
Yeah, you know, it's we deal in a visual product, a medium that you have to see. You can't really put this online. I can put video up online, I can put film clips up online, but you can't touch it, you can't. We're talking about, and we're also dealing with people who are artists. It's not computer people, it's not zeros and ones. You kind of have to connect with it. So if you're showing somebody a lens or a camera sensor, they have to be there. They physically have to see it. We kind of learned that even from the COVID years, trying to bring out products and show products to people in Zoom calls. It's not going to work. Mm-hmm. It's a really important show to be here at this. We see people. We also can see people that are usually spread all over the world. Filmmakers go everywhere, so to get them a chance to see a good chunk of them in one place is exactly what we have to do for marketing.
Thank you so much, Tim.
You're welcome. It's fun.
Have a good day.
Good. See you next year.
We'll see ya.
Hi everyone, I'm here at the ETC Virtual Production stage at NAB with Missy, who we just realized we've actually met before in Los Angeles, and so this is how small this community is at the end of the day, and why it's so important to go around trade shows and be like, wait, we've met before, right? And just be honest and candid and authentic. Missy is also director, but represented here today at this virtual production stage, and we were getting into a conversation about how important it is for actors to be aware and understand virtual production, what it means for performance. And I know you have some stuff to say, so I just wanted to kind of like give you the mic and hear it out.
Okay, so like I feel very strongly about this, like who needs to know about new technology, and like you don't want to get in the weeds, you want to be in your process, but you also want to know like what is the sandbox that you're playing in. Like how close can you get to like the objects around you? How can you incorporate like your training and like imaginative work into this like virtual space while like still being free, still being able to like follow your character's motivations, and also like give your director and like your character you're embodying the performance it deserves, right? And like one of the best things about this in virtual production is like it's not green screen. Like you can look over your shoulder and you can see like the actual world you're in. You're lit. It feels like a lot more real. But you also like have to understand there's a certain amount of feet you have to be away from the wall, that like some of your blocking might have been pre-planned, and hopefully you've been able to be filled in on that process, you know? So there's all of these things that I think are really important to actors as artists, as collaborators with directors and your cinematographer, on like learning like just what space you have, what freedom you have to work, and then also being able to know if you need to pull back and how to internalize your performance. So yeah, I feel really strongly that like maybe you don't need to know like the pixel pitch of the wall, maybe you don't need to know all the technical things, but like you do deserve to know like what the creative expectations are and like how big of a space you can play in.
Sure.
So that's how I feel.
I love this.
Yeah.
And this is always something we're talking about at CFA, is like the consistency of context and how it can make you a more confident filmmaker and actor. So thank you so much. That's so fun. I love
You're
this.
welcome.
Exactly what we
Yeah.
were looking
Oh my
for
God.
today.
Yeah,
So this is
no,
great.
No, this is I think it's just like a really important conversation for actors and creators, and to be included in all these technical conversations, because like we all make the movies, and yeah, this is our creative space. So thank you.
everyone.
Thanks for having me. Yay.
We're here at NAB with Michael Cioni from Frame.io. In partnership with Learn Filmmaking Network. We know Michael because at Cinematography for Actors, we use Frame.io integrated into our own workflow every single day. Hey,
Hi.
tell us a little bit about your product. Oh, you just won an award too.
We did. We won.
Okay.
We won. Our integrations are getting pretty exciting, and we have a new integration with Fuji, where you can shoot stills right from the cloud, right into from the camera to the cloud, and that won a product of the year. So it's pretty
Congrats.
exciting. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, what problem are you fixing here?
The problem that we're fixing, look, the problem is rampant. It's everywhere. It's these little things, right? It's like, how do we get people to not need to download and ship things? And so that's a really important attribute, is being able to eliminate. Now, look, actors are often using this device as their solution, so they still have to figure out how to get the footage off of this. And so Frame.io makes a product with the product Filmic Pro, and so you can shoot and deliver to Adobe Premiere Pro or Resolve or Final Cut and edit from your phone, which is really great. But once you get on the real set and they've got cameras like this or Alexas or Reds, it's the same problem, is we got to download the footage. And so Camera to Cloud is our mission to basically eliminate hard drives from being part of a workflow. We want to connect little record buttons to editor timelines so that people can just start working without any delay.
That sounds incredible. So, our viewers are a range of types of filmmakers, actors, people who want to get involved. So, how can someone get involved today and start using and integrating Frame.io into their own workflow on different levels?
Look, you got to really extrapolate where we're headed in the future. In the 2030s, no one will shoot to hard drives or cards. Everything will go to the cloud. So as filmmakers of any size or shape, you've got to start to get ahead. The mistake is to wait for that to happen. So you got to be proactive in figuring out how you're going to start to learn how to exploit this technology so that you become a pioneer of it and learning to make better work, because better workflow makes better projects. The thankful thing is, if you're an Adobe Creative Cloud subscriber, you actually already have a Frame.io account. It's included, whether you know it or not. So you can go to Frame.io inside of Adobe Premiere and sign up, and it's already included. If you're not an Adobe Creative Cloud user, you could just sign up for Frame.io, and the lowest tier is $15 a month. And Camera to Cloud is included in all of those paid plans. So it really, people say, well, I don't have enough money for that. Your time is money. Time to download, time to organize, time to share, time to get collaboration. Writing those silly emails saying, this thing is too slow, this part should do, let's change this music out. Writing an email and sending that to an editor is wasting time. The investment in a better tool absolutely changes the workflow. And I'm not a seller, I'm a user. I'm a power user of this product, and I'm able to do 50 rounds of reviews instead of 5 because of the efficiency of using the cloud to get my rough cuts, to get more revisions for color, for effects, for edit, for graphics, for art. And if I can do 50 rounds of reviews in the same amount of time, then I'm able to make a better project at the end of the day. This is my 20th NAB. I've seen a lot change. I really respect seeing companies like Evertz and Chiron and Blackmagic that come here for decades, and then you see startups and you see new companies and you see companies that are trying new things. I mean, there's ripe for innovation, and so I think over the 20 times I've come here, I've stayed in about every hotel, and there are good ones and bad ones, and I'm able to see so many friends grow through this, and people change businesses, change jobs, change careers. Look, the importance for people to say, do I really need to go to NAB? Isn't it a bunch of nerds? Well, maybe a little bit, but this is the epicenter of where the manufacturing side of all creative content is invented. And it would be silly to not take advantage of that if it really costs nothing. You know, one of the reasons cars are built so well is the engineers that design them drive them to work every day. Our opportunity as creatives is to get involved in relationships with the manufacturers so that we can actually steer the technology and the process itself. Otherwise, you're just a passive passenger. And I think the best filmmakers that we respect, if you really did an analysis on how they think, they are involved in the construction of workflow and the manufacturing of process. They're not just sitting there using tools, they're helping influence how the tools are actually created. Those are some of the best directors and DPs and even gaffers and grips. They're learning how to do this stuff, and they talk to the manufacturers and they change how it's built. That's the way to create a better future for yourself, is to involve yourself with the people that create it. And this is where it happens.
So for the person that you just convinced who's thinking now about coming to their first NAB next year, what's some day-to-day advice you have for them?
My day advice is stay on the south side of the strip by the monorail, and then take the monorail in, save a few bucks there. And then my advice is don't think about this as one and done. It's consistency. People that learn how to leverage events and relationships like this show up every year. Good years, bad years, ups and downs, excitement, boring. It's the consistency. Just like friends and family, what makes relationships grow is seeing people all the time. You know, a friend of mine said something really smart. You know, we've always heard this term, it's who you know in Hollywood, right? Everybody knows that term. But a friend of mine said, I don't think that's right anymore. He said, it's who knows you. And that's what's changing. And so if you want to make it and move ahead, it's not just about who you know, it's who knows you. And how people know you is being out there, consistently working it, and letting people see you. And if you do that in aggregate over years and years of doing that, you start to build your own gravitational pull. And that's what creatives who want to be leaders need to be able to do.
Thank you so much. That's excellent advice. Great to see you at this NAB. Sure we'll see you again next year.
I hope so. I'm sure I will be.
Hi, I'm Indiana, and I'm here with Sean from Lumix, who works primarily in marketing, correct?
Yes, I do. Yep.
Welcome to this video. We are here to spotlight your new camera and this build, and I know that there's a lot of exciting things that content creators, independent filmmakers, and kind of anyone in between are going to be excited about. And so can we talk a little bit about what this is?
Yeah, of course we can. So the S5 Mark II X, this is the kind of newest in our full frame series of cameras. It's 24 megapixel mirrorless 35 millimeter full frame camera. So from those, fairly common what you're seeing in this category, but it's really the kind of special things that we've added to it. So it can shoot up to 6K open gate recording in 30 frames per second.
Impressive.
In a full 3:2 ratio.
Insane.
It also has legitimate anamorphic from the Super 35 region in a 4:3 ratio at 4.4K.
Got it.
We've also added in like a whole bunch of other cool things like anamorphic D-squeeze. We have, because mirrorless cameras typically have in-body stabilization systems, it's also been tuned to actually be able to stabilize an anamorphic lens based on the squeeze factor.
Wow.
So when we talk about like the independent filmmakers, you're looking at a consumer camera that's like $2,200 in the US.
Yeah.
That is fully feature spec'd, just like higher end cinema tools.
Yeah.
But we also want to make sure that the camera like this is ready for social media content creators, you know, in just small time, just mom and pop filmmakers or just videographers.
Yes.
So the camera has added in phase hybrid autofocusing, which is new for Lumix. So we've been asked about that for like 10 years and finally have it.
Amazing.
But that open gate recording is also something that now social media content creators are latching on to because they need multiple deliverables and they may only want to do the shoot once.
Right. Let's go to the basics for those who don't know. What is open gate? We hear it a lot.
Yeah. So open gate basically is you're going to use the full sensor height and width or film height and width, and you would, in post, you would then mask out like, okay, I want a 16:9 or I want 17:9 or whatever.
Yeah.
So most cameras in the market are locking you to 16:9 because that's what consumers normally think of. Well, we can do it, so we thought, why not? Just let you use the full height and width of the sensor. So it means in post, you do have to bring it in and tell it, you know, you want a 17:9 or 16:9 output. But yeah, you just have that full capability, and now, like I said, social media is becoming such a big deal that you want 9:16 content. Now, instead of doing a 3840 by 2160 and then having to cut out a vertical in it, which you're killing your resolution at that, now we're doing 6K width and 4K height. So now you have just all of that extra resolution. It's one take, you get both crops out of it. And it's between that and like all the other tools we've put in here, waveform, vector scope, luminance spot meter, a real-time LUT function.
Oh, cool.
So you can bake looks into the LUT, the vlog file.
Wow.
And then, like I said, it's also a photography camera.
Cool.
So,
yes,
and
for sure.
I also kind of have to say that because I am more of a photographer.
Oh.
But we took that logic from filmmaking with LUTs and looks and stuff like that and applied it to the photography side as well. Because everyone loves old school Fujifilm looks and Kodak looks. Well, you can apply those onto vlogs, standard color profiles, all that, and get those looks out of it right in the camera without having to go to a computer for it. So.
Amazing. What we love, I think, as well as something we're always talking about, Haley, who's buying camera right now, is how accessible the market is becoming for everyone at different stages of filmmaking. So whether you're an entry-level shooter or working on a big set and you're taking this on your tech scale with you, it's kind of the ability to de-squeeze an anamorphic lens is rare and unheard of in this market, and so I love that you guys are able to make this more accessible to kind of anyone who's willing to test out lenses or want to get their hands and look into the anamorphic world, and as well for social media and content creators, the ability to shoot once and then exactly deliver to multiple platforms is huge. So we love saving time, we love for it to look good, and it seems like you're accomplishing both of those. So thank you so much, Sean.
Thank you for coming by.
Of course, anytime. Thanks, guys.
I'm sitting here on the floor, which is a very normal thing. You'll see it. Something like this is full-grown adults resting on the floor because we walk a lot. I'm sitting here with Biagio. He is co-founder and VP of growth at BoxedUp. Hey, what is BoxedUp?
BoxedUp is a new technology platform. It is meant to solve a lot of the production workflow challenges that DPs, crew, and above-the-line folks have when it comes to renting gear. We're also solving problems for rental houses and really the way kind of existing rentals work today with high-end production. So we're bringing in pro rental houses from across the country into one new digital interface and making it super easy to collaborate, communicate with crews and producers, and really finding the gear you need wherever you want it, whether it's delivery or local pickup and prep.
So that's very cool. That sounds like something that could be a cool resource for a newer filmmaker, even if they're not using it to actually rent gear. What are some of the tools that you have on that site?
Yeah, 100%. So there's a lot of tools we have that I think are adding value above just the actual rental process of an item. So we just launched our shot reference program. So literally you can search BoxedUp and find really any reference when it comes to film, any type of content, types of shoots, things of that nature, and get references, right, on what products were used. So I think there's a lot of educational opportunities there, and actually find where to potentially rent those items as well. There's also the ability to create lists, right, so building gear lists. So if someone wants to start practicing, right, and finding what kind of camera package they want, what kind of grip packages they might need, or adding on specific items, they can do that, they can save it, they can share it with their friends for feedback. So I think there's a lot of value there for folks that are, learning, wanting to get inspired, and also just kind of playing around with their dream kind of package option for their next shoot.
So great.
So why bring BoxedUp to NAB? What sort of value is NAB bringing to a company like yours?
Well, NAB is kind of the place to be, right? When we think about cinematography and we think about filmmaking, and so a lot of our customers are here, right? So we have the pro rental houses that obviously are here and meeting people and sharing value. We have all the brands that are out there, Cook, Atlas, right? All the types of products people are renting, and we want to work with those brands and help highlight their products. And then obviously you have a ton of filmmakers, right? You have, DPs walking around and great people here that are renting products or using products, working with brands, and those are our customers as well. So we want to make sure that we're here and we're sharing our message and building these relationships and building trust.
How many years have you come to NAB?
This is my first year.
Mine too.
Yeah? Nice.
First time.
Cool.
Okay, so far, what has been your personal favorite part of NAB?
That's a great question. I think, it's just like literally the scale has been really cool. So I've just met so many neat people, and seeing the seminars has been really, really valuable. Just so much access, right, to a diverse group of talent. That's probably been my favorite thing, and getting a lot of steps down as well, which is always good. So yeah, it's been a great experience.
Have you seen anything really cool that you're excited about that you want to tell everyone about?
I think that crazy motorcycle thing in the front, where it was like the Steadicam.
The Unreal.
Yeah. That was pretty wild.
Unreal, yeah.
The Unreal piece.
Unreal virtual production.
Yeah. I just really liked some of the sessions with some of the guest speakers. That was really cool too, and super educational.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for any first-timers who might come next year?
Yeah, I think try and plan out your attack, right? And look in advance on where you want to kind of spend your time and add value, because it is gigantic and there's so many halls. I think that's one thing I've learned is use the resources NAB provides, right, to kind of see where you want to spend your time, who you want to talk with, and just kind of get prepared. Otherwise, it can be a bit overwhelming.
Any must-pack items?
Comfortable shoes. That's number one. I didn't do a good job there, and I've worn out my ankles pretty poorly.
Yes.
Pretty badly anyway, so that would be number one.
But you look cool.
Yeah, thank you.
That matters too.
That is, it's important, yeah.
So it sounds like BoxedUp is it's not only, solving the problem of, having to go multiple places to find things, but it's also kind of supporting the community a little bit.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think we really want to add a lot of value to the community as we continue to grow and innovate. We're doing a lot of things in terms of, trying to be really focused on local activities, workshops in particular. We're planning some workshops that are coming live soon, which we'll announce. And part of that is bringing in really talented stakeholders, right, and subject matter experts, so DPs and camera operators, to tackle unique subjects that a lot of is not really easily accessed from a knowledge base. So how do you bring this to a larger group of people? Real set experience, right, which is sometimes hard to get even from people that teach this subject matter. How do we bring value there? I think also some of the tools within BoxedUp we're actually really trying to make valuable just from an educational experience. So shot reference is something that I mentioned earlier. Whether you're looking at stuff you love like Euphoria or other shows, you can actually see exactly what lens was used, right, what camera body, and not only that, be able to actually attach that to products you want to rent, lists you want to build, and know exactly what shops have that available. And then also, if you want to add shot references to share with your producer, right, or share with your AD where you need to get sign-off, having one place to do that. So just making it a lot easier, making some of these things more accessible, where today it's very disparate, right, and where to find certain pieces of content to help with these activities. So we'll be around more and more, and hopefully we'll get a chance to meet a lot of you folks out there in the near future. Also, we're really interested in working with brands and manufacturers as well, right? Because we want to highlight products, we want to highlight experiences for them and bring that into, shot references, as well as making sure that, every product and every image and everything that we're building within this site represents these brands the way they want to be represented as well. So I think there's a unique opportunity to add value to all these different parties and in this space, and, just kind of, innovate here that in a way that hasn't been done in a while.
Everyone should really check out BoxedUp. Sounds like an awesome resource, not just for renting gear, but for also learning things. Biagio Sarich, everybody.
We are sitting here with my dear friend Pat Caputo from TRP Worldwide, and he is the founder of TRP Worldwide. Is that correct?
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah,
that's fun.
Founder.
Yeah.
So,
Legit.
Sounds like I've been here a while.
Yeah. It's okay. We understand. One of the things I wanted to stop by here, and something I've always been impressed by, is what I want to dub the secret weapon to have on set for gaffers and DPs, and key grips, and that is your magic cloth. And could we talk a little bit about why I might be calling it the secret weapon of what you should have on set?
It's quite popular, so lots of people have called it many things, and a secret weapon is what it's become. So it's deployed all over the world, and it's been probably it's one of my most popular fabrics today.
And so what can you expect from having the magic cloth on set? What is it used for and why is it unique?
So it's unique because of just the quality of light, and it's just magical.
I love that. So what can we expect? How does it compare to something like an Ultra Bounce or a muslin?
Well, I would actually go towards muslin because it's a diffusion. Ultra Bounce, we are the founders of Ultra Bounce also, and that is a bounce. So basically, it's a very soft, unlike a lot of the diffusions that we've been using. It's probably one of the softest products out there, and it spreads quite well, and a lot of products are being used.
Amazing. Now, can we get a little shot of what we have sample-wise here?
Here we go.
Wow, the magic cloth, everyone. I think everyone should get their hands on some magic cloth and test it out on whatever project you're using to just get an example of really why I'm calling it the secret weapon on set. But thank you so much, Pat.
Thank you.
Yay! Bye!